The psychology of laziness. A person is being lazy if he is able to carry out some activity that he ought to carry out, but is disinclined to do so because of the effort involved. Instead, he carries out the activity perfunctorily, or engages in some other, less strenuous or less boring activity, or remains idle. In short, he is being lazy if his motivation to spare himself effort trumps his motivation to do the right or expected thing. Synonyms for laziness are indolence and sloth. Indolence derives from the Latin indolentia, without pawn or, without taking trouble. Sloth has more moral and spiritual overtones than laziness or indolence. In the Christian tradition, sloth is one of the 7 deadly sins because it undermines society and God's plan, and because it invites sin. The Bible inveighs against slothfulness, for example, in the book of Ecclesiastes, "By much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands the house droppeth through." Procrastination. Laziness should not be confounded with procrastination or idleness. To procrastinate is to postpone a task in favor of other tasks, which, though perceived as easier or more pleasurable, are typically less important or urgent. Laziness and procrastination are similar in that they both involve a lack of motivation. But, unlike a lazy person, a procrastinator aspires and intends to complete the task and, moreover, does eventually complete it, albeit at a higher cost to himself. Idleness. To be idle is not to be doing anything. This could be because you are lazy, but it could also be because you do not have anything to do or are temporarily unable to do it. Or perhaps you have already done it and are resting or recuperating. Idleness is often romanticized, as epitomized by the Italian expression dolce far niente, it is sweet to do nothing. Many people tell themselves that they work hard from a desire to be idle, rather than because they value their work or its product. Albert Camus introduces his philosophy of the absurd in his essay of 1942, The Myth of Sisyphus. In the final chapter, he compares the absurdity of man's life with the plight of Sisyphus, a mythological king of Ephra who was punished for his chronic deceitfulness by being made to repeat forever the same meaningless task of pushing a boulder up a mountain, only to see it roll back down again. It should be noted that many people who can seem bone idle are, in fact, nothing of the sort. Lord Melbourne, Queen Victoria's favourite Prime Minister, extolled the virtues of masterful inactivity. As chairman and CEO of General Electric, Jack Welch spent an hour a day in what he called, looking out of the window time. Adepts of strategic idleness use their idle moments, among others, to observe and enjoy life, find inspiration, maintain perspective, circumvent pettiness, reduce inefficiency in half-living, and conserve their health and energies for truly important tasks and problems. Evolutionary theories of laziness. Our nomadic ancestors had to conserve energy to compete for scarce resources and to fight or flee enemies and predators. Expending effort on anything other than short-term advantage could jeopardize their very survival. In any case, in the absence of conveniences such as antibiotics, banks, roads, or refrigeration, it made little sense to think long-term. Desire led to action, and action led to immediate gratification, without much need for proposing, planning, preparing, and so forth. Indeed, laziness has become so closely connected with poverty and failure that a poor person is often presumed lazy, no matter how hard he might actually work. Psychological theories of laziness. In most cases, it is deemed painful to expend effort on long-term goals that do not provide immediate gratification. For a person to embark on a project, he has to value the return on his labor more than his loss of comfort. The problem is that he is disinclined to trust in a return that is both distant and uncertain. Instead, a kind of hedonistic calculus should be applied to determine which things are most likely to result in the greatest pleasure over time, and it is above all this hedonistic calculus that people are unable to handle. The solution. I could have ended this article with a self-help pep talk or the top 10 tips to overcome laziness, but, in the longer term, the only way to overcome laziness is to profoundly understand its nature and particular causes. To think, and, over the years, slowly find a better way of living. Thanks for watching.